Okay, good day once again, and this is the continuation of our NSTP CWTS ROTC review. And we'll cover here climate change and national security and prelim exam questions with high difficulty index. So let us start with climate change. Do you believe that climate change is already existing? Because before, we only saw this term climate change in the book. But now, we are now experiencing climate change. Massive flooding, strong typhoons, and even drought. Okay, these are indicators of climate change. Now, every November, we are celebrating what we call the Environmental Awareness Month. And that is pursuant to Republic Act 9512. Or an act to promote environmental awareness to environmental education. And this is also the very reason why you are all required to study environmental law, environment protection, as part of your NSTP subject. Because it is stated in Section 4, the CHED and the TESDA shall include environmental education and awareness programs and activities in National Service Training Program under Republic Act 9163. So that is mandatory. We are required to include environmental education awareness in NSTP program. So there is a question, is it mandatory to study environmental awareness and climate change? The answer is yes, because it is mandated under the National Environmental Awareness Education Act. Now, recognizing the vulnerability of the Philippine archipelago to potential dangerous consequences of climate change, such as rising of seas, changing of landscapes, increasing frequency and severity of droughts, fires, floods, storms, climate-related illnesses and diseases. How did the Philippines respond to these changes? Okay, we know that climate change is happening. So how did the Philippines respond to these challenges? Well, the Philippines passed RA 9729. This is the Climate Change Act of 2009. And the primary purpose of the law is to institutionalize or to include in all government programs the so-called climate change mitigation, climate change adoption measures, right? And they created an office called the Climate Change Commission, in order to oversee the implementation of the different climate change adoption and mitigation measures. Okay? And that is the Climate Change Commission. According to Climate Change Commission, the Philippines is one of the countries at greatest risk from present and projected climate-related hazard. And what are these climate-related hazards? We have droughts, we have flash floods, and frequent typhoons. Okay, just like this one, no? In Dumaguete City, 7 hektaryang gulayan nasira dahil sa epekto ng El Nino. El Nino is drought. Okay? Just recently, massive flooding sinks Cagayan, Tugigaraw. Okay? Then, we have the deadliest typhoon in the Philippines, Yolanda, Oring, Sidong, Frank, and recently we have Rolly. So, because of climate change, it is happening in the Philippines. Strongest typhoon. According to Climate Change Commission, the Philippines is facing greatest environmental challenge of our generation. If global warming continues to increase at current rate, it is likely to reach 1.5 degrees Celsius between 2030 and 2052. So how can we prevent this global warming? How can we prevent global warming and climate change? Well, we should plant trees and use renewable energy, like hydropower plant, solar, because those are renewable, and recycling of waste products, and single-use plastics. What is the encouragement of single-use? To discourage the use of single-use plastic. I-discourage ang paggamit ng single-use plastics. Now, let's go to national security. And here, we will going to discuss treason, espionage, rebellion, coup d'etat, and terrorism. These are only some of our threats to national security. Okay, these are threats to national security. So, what is treason? Actually, treason in Tagalog is pagtataksil sa bayan. Pagtataksil sa bayan. There is what we call intent to betray, betrayal of trust. Okay? And who is the offender here? The offender could be a Filipino citizen, kita, or a resident alien, those tourists in the Philippines, or residing in the Philippines. Now, when can a treason be committed? A treason can only be committed during war. There is a war which Philippines is involved. If there is no war, forget treason. There is no treason if there is no war. And how is this committed? You levise war against the government, or adheres to the enemy by giving him or aid or comfort. Now, let's go to what do you mean by levise war? What if we are being attacked by another country, and here you are, a group of citizens also attack the Philippine government in support to the attacking country. That is levise war. Or we are attacked by another country, and you give support to that enemy country by giving resources, food, armaments. Okay? So those are what we call treason. Now, President Aquino Trillanes faced treason. They were charged with treason. Why? For back channel talks with China. Back channel talk with China. But this crime was dismissed by the prosecutor or by ombudsman because you cannot charge treason if there is no war. Forget treason, there is no war. There is no war. Okay? So the two were clear. The case was dismissed because there was no war. Okay? But I have another example. China and Philippines are in hostile relationship due to territorial dispute. This is an example. One day, China directly attacked the destroyer ship of the Philippines. Because of this, the Philippines declared war against China. Because of this declaration, China launched a massive attack against the Philippines. When China almost conquered the entire territory of the Philippines, an armed group led by Rodrigo declared support to China by giving them aid or comfort. Is the group of Rodrigo criminally liable? The answer is yes. With treason for giving aid or comfort to the enemy. So they will be liable for treason, giving aid or comfort to the enemy. Now, espionage. Espionage basically is spying, getting information, data, okay, to the from the Philippines, and you send it to another country. No? The offender is public officer or employee. He possesses information, photos, plans, data of confidential nature relative to the defense of the Philippines. So he knows our military capability, how much air assets we have, okay, water assets we have. And he disclosed this information to the foreign nation or to the enemy country. And that is spying. Right? Now, this can be committed in times of peace and in times of war. Now, I know many of you are fan of TikTok. But according to one of the security experts in America, TikTok can be a means of spying by China. Okay? It gets our facial recognition, our information. So, it might be used by China against us. So, that's according to one of the security expert in America. Now, we have the third telco now, the DITO telecommunity. But remember this. This is owned, 60% of this is owned by a China company, China-backed telco. Now, there is a risk, no? There is a risk that they might use this to spy the Philippines. And if they'll do that, if that is true, that will happen, then they can be charged with espionage. I'll give you another example, illustration. How about if before the war, Rodrigo already supplied information, plans, photographs, or data of confidential nature relative to the defense of the Philippines to China? Is he criminally liable? The answer is yes. They will be, since he supplied information, data, pictures, photographs relative to the defense of the Philippines, he can be liable for espionage, for giving information relative to the defense of the Philippines to the enemy country. Now, we have coup d'etat. This is not coup d'etat, but this is coup d'etat. What is coup d'etat? I want to simplify coup d'etat now. There is a swift attack. There must be an attack accompanied by violence, invasion, threat, strategy, and directed against a duly constituted authority, that is the Philippine government. Who committed this one? Member of military or police. Member of military or police. So, who is liable of coup d'etat? Military or police. So, for example, This one. This is the group of Magdalo, led by Trillanes and Jerry Gambala. They protested against Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, at that time the president. They occupied the Oakwood Hotel and the lunch attack. What was the crime committed? They are liable for coup d'etat because they are member of military. Okay? Another illustration. During military uprising aimed at ousting President DDS and taking over the government, General Tejero, member of military, of the AFP and his men forcibly took over in the Rich Hotel, which they used as their base. They used the rooms and other facilities of the hotel, ate all the available foods that they found, and detained some hotel guests. What was the crime committed by General Tejero and his men? They are liable for coup d'etat. They are liable for coup d'etat because they are member of military, and they have conducted a sweep attack against the duly constituted authorities. Rebellion. There must be a public uprising, and that public uprising involves taking arms to the government. Remember this. If there is already arm, that's rebellion. If you only conduct rally, protest, that is not rebellion. There is no arm taking there. It's just expression of your grievances or redress against the government. So that is not rebellion. But if you attack the government, then that's rebellion. Now, example, police station repels NP attack. NP attacks a police station. What's the crime committed? This is rebellion because they attack police station. Okay? Pulang Araw is a rebel group led by Sergeant Supremo. One day, in order to overthrow the government, the group attacked police station, killing 5 police officers and 2 innocent civilians. They robbed the police station of armaments and other supplies. After which, they burned the police station. Is the group criminal liable? Although there is burning, there is robbing, there is only one crime, and that crime is rebellion. There is only one crime, rebellion lang. Because their aim is to overthrow the government. Okay, that's only rebellion. Terrorism. Now, simply put, terrorism, to constitute the crime of terrorism, there must be bombing or killing. That is what we call terroristic activities. And what is the effect of this bombing and killing? Thereby sowing and creating a condition of widespread and extra fear and panic among the populace. Let's change the scenario. This one, example of bombing. Davao night market bombing, this is terrorism. Holo blast bombing, this is also terrorism. I think I have an illustration. What if the Pulang Araw group attack and burn Municipal Hall, the church and public market of the municipality, killing 100 innocent civilians? So they kill 100 innocent civilians, thereby causing, take note of this, causing extraordinary fear and panic among the populace. Is the member of the group criminal liable? The answer is yes. With terrorism, because their act caused extraordinary fear and panic among the populace. Okay? So let's go to prelim exam question with high difficulty index. I'll make this one pass now. RA 8491. Can we change the Philippine flag? Right? That's the question. Can we change the Philippine flag? The answer is no. Because the Constitution use the term shall, which is mandatory. Therefore, you cannot change the flag of the Philippines without changing the Constitution. Okay, another question. During the war between Philippines and one country, Mr. B, a member of Jehovah's Witness, refused to join the military because of its contrary to his belief. Is the condition of be meritorious? The answer is yes. Because Constitution exempted the person from joining military by reason of religion. You cannot force someone to join military if it is for religious purposes. Mr. D, a student of certain university, was caught in the act of smoking marijuana in their barangay. Since Mr. D did not consume entirely the drug, the presiding officer was able to seize from him partially born marijuana. So, he did not consume entirely the drug and there was partially born marijuana. The crime here is possession of marijuana. Now, follow-up question. Because of the incident involving Mr. D, he was charged before SDT, the Student Disciplinary Tribunal, the School for Grave Misconduct. After due notice and hearing, Student Disciplinary Tribunal found Mr. D guilty of grave misconduct committed penalty expulsion. Mr. argued that they did not commit the act inside the school. Is his claim tenable? The answer is no. Because academic freedom of school includes home to teach. Okay, what will follow here is academic freedom. If the school will expel you after due notice and trial, that is the prerogative of the school. But because that is part of academic freedom. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. And once again, good luck to you.